We are live.
Okay, we'll call the February 22nd, 2021 meeting to order. Roll call.
David?
Here.
Melanie? Here. Craig?
Here.
Becky?
Here.
Jay?
Here.
Andy?
Here.
All is present?
David, would you like
Yes.
to do us in prayer?
Lord, thank you for another day. And be with our village tonight, Lord. And be with the council as we make decisions for our village. Be with our law enforcement. Be with our mayor, Lord. And also, Lord, remember the people in Texas right now. Touch them and tell them they're not alone in this tragic time they're going through. And the people with the virus, touch them tonight, Lord. In Jesus' wonderful name, amen.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're still streaming.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the council meeting held on February 8th, 2021?
You have that motion?
I'll second.
That was David, second was Craig.
Roll call.
David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Jay? Yes. Andy?
Yes.
And I'll pass this around when we do our financials.
Mayor's report, I just have a couple things. We will be flying the flags at half-staff, starting as soon as I can get somebody to lower it until Friday at sunset, to remember the 500,000 people plus that have been lost to COVID. Also, in regards to COVID, there was actually a town hall meeting tonight at 6:30, but in regards to any kind of questions that people might have about getting the vaccine. And because we are in a meeting, of course, we can't watch it. It is being you can watch it live or on demand, either through Facebook, Ohio Department of Health, YouTube, Ohio Department of Health 1, online, coronavirus.ohio.gov/townhall, or you can watch it this Saturday on the Ohio channel at 6 o'clock or Sunday at 2 o'clock. And it just goes over town hall questions in regards to the vaccine. And that's what I have for you tonight. President Pro Tem report, Mr. Petty.
Yes, we are finally able to get some committee meetings going. I've heard good things, good plans, good ideas. And so I don't have really much really say at this time. Just feels like we can finally get the year rolling. Finally, seems like we're rolling into March and things are slowly puttering along. I know we were supposed to have a meeting this last week, and unfortunately that was canceled. And that looks like we rescheduled for this week, the safety work session for Wednesday, if I'm correct, at 4 o'clock. Again, no, I'm excited to see what 2021 brings. I know we have some big items that each committee is looking at and diving into and all that fun stuff. So other than that, that's pretty much what's going on.
Okay. Did we have anybody sign up for comments?
No. Nope.
We have no executive session. That takes us to our sheriff's report. Mr. Dill.
Hello. Everybody should have a copy of the manager report. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Looks like cold weather kept everything under control for a while, the only one
If you
thing.
look on there, you won't see domestics.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Probably too cold to fight.
Might be. Down at the bottom, I put some notes in there. You're gonna notice some traffic changes coming to the village. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. But starting like March 15th, the bridge on 62, just north of town, is gonna be out for 180 days. So look for a different traffic pattern to start happening. Something to look forward to in 2022 is 71, is they're gonna start widening it from 56 to Franklin County, trying to make it 3 lanes, and they're trying to get 56 south to Fayette County and do it at the same time, so I don't know if that's gonna cause some problems, which it normally does anytime there's construction. But once it's done, it's gonna help us when there's accidents out there as a village, because chances are there's gonna be a lane open and we won't have these big backups. And that's all I have.
Any questions or?
I have a question, Jack. Sorry, I had to take that off. I couldn't see out of it. I'm here behind my plexiglass, so hopefully everybody's safe. With all this recent snowfall, I know the streets committee put up a lot of signs. We have a lot of 2-inch snowfall signs out there about you need to move your cars if there's 2 inches of snow. And I know that didn't happen a lot of places
It didn't
because.
happen anywhere.
Right. So what is the procedure with that happening? How do we make that happen? Because, people, there's big snow drifts because people didn't move their car and they're piled snow up around them and they're complaining but they need to follow the ordinance and move their car. But so what would we do
Do
to,
we have any extra money that we can get big tags that we can tag these cars with?
so you tag them like a ticket kind of tag?
Yeah, but it's not a ticket, it's just, hey, you need to move your car because we need to plow the streets.
And what if they don't? Because we have these signs that say that. What if they don't? Then what do we
Once
do?
they're tagged, then they're on the thing, gives them so long to move it, and then we can tow it. Because there is an ordinance that would back that up,
Right.
so we can do that.
All right.
If we put our citation on it, it's a $180 ticket. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a friendly warning, get your car moved.
Right.
But if you guys would print something up for us that we can have in the sheriff's office, and all of our Sterling deputies can have them, and then your plow drivers could help us out a lot too by saying, hey, can you go tag Temple Street? I'm getting ready to go down there in a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And then would it just be up to like council or the streets committee to determine, I know they're supposed to do it immediately, but determine like you have another hour to get your car moved, or then you get a ticket, or where would the
It's
teeth
not-
of it be?
We're not gonna ticket, we're gonna tow it.
Oh, I'll just tow them.
Yeah.
Got ya.
And I could spend 2 days writing tickets when I could just put a tag on it, and if they don't get it moved within a certain amount of time, I just tow it.
What is the normal amount of time on those?
I don't know exactly what the ordinance says for the snow emergency, because that's what it would have to fall under, but I can find out and let you know.
It really does bring in a lot of calls with people upset that their cars are under snow, but they're not moved. So I can't tell you how many calls I received that they're upset because they had to dig their cars out.
And
But then I told him that if you move your car, we'll be happy to go and move that snow.
Right, and that's what I was telling the mayor this morning. You're gonna get those calls every year. You're gonna get the same people calling you every year. You guys plowed me in again. Well, don't park on the street when you know there's a bunch of snow coming. Pretty simple. You've got the ordinance, so you get me the tags and we'll do it.
Probably won't be doing that till next year though, right? Fingers
No more
crossed.
snow.
My car's still stuck, so. And,
Jack, is that the same type of thing with the 2-hour parking?
The snow removal,
Well, is it the same type of thing you would want to do? Like, we got some more 2-hour parkings in the spots
yeah,
where
I
the
would
signs
like
were
to
down?
just put a tag on it, as a friendly warning, because we don't wanna be Gestapo, just ticketing everything we see.
Mhm.
But then, after 2 hours, after I put a thing on it, if they haven't moved it, then I can ticket it.
Okay.
All right, any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Our law director is not here this evening, so we have no report from him. Utilities clerk, Misty.
But short and sweet here. I was in training today, all day until maybe 5:30, with Rob Barber, and he is training with a new meter system. And so pretty interesting, a lot of work involved in it, so pretty excited. He will be back tomorrow all day, so if you get my voicemail, we'll call you back. He'll also be out with the guys, educating them on how to read the meters with the new, I guess it's now a tablet, no longer a handheld. So if you see them near your property, don't freak out after I give you my next report. Because I always get that when they're looking at a meter or something, I always get calls like, did I pay my bill? Did you get your payment? So as everybody knows, we always try to, by courtesy, to give a call or a tag before anybody's shut off. So which leads me to the next report. It's the delinquents, as always. I know that you probably get tired of hearing this, but even due to, the COVID issues, a lot of people, they're attempting to pay. The county's assisting them. There's assistance at the county. You just have to call, and I have that information. There's a couple programs there, and they make it pretty simple to get that money. It's just you have to get it before it's so far gone. But it's pretty simple. Just need to give some financial information, personal information over at Community Action, and the money's there. And they're so kind about helping. So there's about 19,000 in delinquents right now, and then 6,500 of that's been the ones a few that we've talked about that's been going ongoing for leaks, and there's a few of them, and Marcy's dealing with that, and we'll take that to the water committee. And one of them was a while back on a large a company in town, so that's $6,500 on that. So that leaves us down to a little over 12,000, and the delinquents. There's about, what do I have here? About 35 people on payment plans, and there's 9 people right now scheduled to be shut off this week. And so those are almost all of those are due to the default on not falling through their payment plan, or when I contacted them, they didn't get back with us. And so they're well aware of it, that it's going to be shut off. It's no surprise to the ones that are going to get their water shut off. I've even went to homes to try to get a hold of them before we shut them off. It's easier to get a payment in than to try to get the guys out there and get the water shut off and get the calls back in and get them out there with everybody being safe and sound and not too displeased. So that's why we make such effort, even with the, it takes a lot of hours to make that kind of effort to help them keep their services on. So that's about all I have for this evening. I do have a couple of payments that I need to process, if that's okay. If
Do you have
there's
any
not
questions?
Like I said, too, but you look at the situation in Texas, well, how important water is. Them people there are waiting for trucks to come with water. So
Yeah.
God bless us that we have water situation, but at least we can get a drink.
Yeah,
So,
and that's true. There's a couple of people in town, their water froze, and it's one of those things, I don't know if you've ever been without water for whatever reason, but they just had to play the waiting game and hope that things didn't bust and hope that it would thaw out. And, one of them said, I didn't realize how important it is, how lucky I am. I complained about the price more than I cared about the water. I mean, it was just really good, that sweet of her to say that. Pretty humbling.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice
Report for our next meeting. That takes us to our fiscal officer.
Several people that do walk the sidewalks for exercise, for health purposes, for their dogs, or that's just their transportation.
I think I know one.
Yeah, David is as an example. Yeah, so you could probably, relate to this. But basically, you know, they expressed concern that we do have an ordinance. I did reply back to them. We do have a sidewalk, clearing of ice and snow as well as repair. That is the homeowner's responsibility, either the homeowner and or the renter. You know, obviously you would go back to your landlord for that. But, she expressed some concerns that, you know, due to health reasons, that, you know, she didn't understand that we have an ordinance, but we're not enforcing it. So, you know, I'm sure we've all seen this driving around town, is that not everybody has shoveled their driveways or sidewalks, you know, for people to cross safely. And, you know, I did advise her that I would take it to council to, you know, see, you know, about looking into this and why and how we can enforce this better. Because, you know, there are a lot of people that transport, you know, that's their transportation. And like I said, David, you can relate. So,
How would you enforce it?
yeah,
Just the
that, I mean, that's what my
Same thing?
thought was.
a tag on their door?
Yeah,
And then give them time and then to comply and then,
because there's already an ordinance, so what I need to do is, you know, I know the number, I just want to go in there and look at the language, and see what it says, because, you know, a lot of it, you know, they're, like Jack has helped us in the past with the nuisance stuff. There are fees attached somewhere, and I have a brown codified book that has fees attached to it, so we do need to be, you know, as we talk about 2-hour parking, as we talk about 2-hour, you know, snow removal and stuff, this is definitely one that could also be spoken about. Because, you know, we don't want people, pedestrians that are trying to cross or trying to get out into the road to walk, and, you know, traffic is zooming by. We don't want anybody to be injured, but I just figure that, you know, we probably do need to talk about this. I don't know if you guys are taking it to nuisance or streets. But maybe in our next committee meetings, we get that book out, but I'll place it on the agenda.
Why couldn't the village put their snow emergency on the, like, school closings and delays? They got the snow emergency levy, or things going across, Village of Mount Sterling snow emergency. That could tell people, hey, I gotta get out and move my car because they're gonna be coming around. That's something you could put on there, and maybe something with the sidewalks as well. As, include that in the snow emergency.
You just put that, call the TV station?
Yeah, just
I don't know if they
set
do that.
something up with them, and then.
maybe the
one
fire
person
department
can
here in
do it.
town would put it on theirs.
Now, I have seen London, did a good job, on their Facebook page, that they, you know, explain, and we do have it on there, from when Jack did the website, it does have it on there, it's just, I mean, it's visibly on there, and it stays on there just like grass in the summertime. So, you know, it's been on our website, it's just, I think we need to get it out there in some sort of fashion, but, you know,
Put it on
understanding.
Facebook, everybody does.
yeah, but that, London did that, London actually did a Facebook, their mayor did a Facebook, little thing as a reminder, saying, hey, you know, these are the emergency, most alleys, there are not, you know, public parking for them in the front, so they do utilize a lot of those alleys, and especially for, you know, fire and, you know, getting those EMS.
Well, Courtney, even in Columbus's side streets is not a priority until they get the main things in, because I was watching Channel 10 the other night, and they're still complaining about streets.
Right.
So.
I mean, it's tough, I mean, especially when we have, and again, you know, a shout out to George and Aaron for everything they have done. They have done an exceptional job with only the two of them. So there has been definitely times where they only got a couple hours of sleep and then came back in to make sure that, you know, what Misty was saying, that the pipes weren't busting in people's houses. You know, I know there was a few calls that I have given to them, so, you know, they really do a great job out there. They work really hard, and I just hope that, you know, with patience, that we understand that we only have 2 employees. So,
With that, if I can jump, I know I talked to her earlier today. I know before, you know, like with Billy Martin, when he was mayor, he would jump on and he would help plow and all that as well. You know, and I know a few council members, you know, piqued interest about, hey, we'll jump on in Kubota and help out. And the biggest concern was, I mean, the solicitor said no, liability, whatnot, and I did make a request for Courtney to reach out to our insurance company to see if there's something we can do, so that way, as council members, if needed help like that, jumping on a Kubota or whatever else, to help, whatever situation is, an emergency, snow to whatever, that we'd be, available to do that, allowed to do that. So I know Courtney is looking into that right now, but I thought that was, having a full-time and a part-time, those guys were strained and, you knew what was going on, so, hopefully we'll get some good news back, and we can get something a little adjusted for us.
Okay, so that was what I have, is, we'll take it to the committee, if that's okay. Okay, so the next thing I do want to also talk about is, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen on the news that a lot of people's identities are being compromised. Mine happened to me. So it actually happened here within the village. So they sent a job and family services request, like if somebody were to quit, and they're trying to collect unemployment. It was made under my maiden name, and it also had my social security number on it, and it was sent to here at Town Hall. So I do want to just remind everybody, the frustrating part is, and I don't know if anybody here recently has experienced that, but it is very hard to get through to them. They are at this point not taking any messages. They are saying, sorry, with the large call volume, we are not returning any phone calls, and you will not leave a message. And their website has a lot of stuff on there on how to record it, what to do, and then you feel like, oh my gosh, is something else happening? That because you're not getting that response back immediately. So I just I know, David, you always talk about fraud that's happening.
Going on.
It happened here. So if anybody is getting any phone calls, again, they're not, if that's happened to you and you get something in the mail, and you haven't applied for anything, it's very difficult to get a hold of somebody. Like, I waited on hold, and then finally they said, you've been on hold for too long. We're not
Who
doing
did
it.
you
Walter
call?
Pulling is getting
Job
unemployment
and Family
checks.
Services.
They're getting
And
unemployment
it came
checks.
out of, Columbus, so it wasn't like in Madison or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, it's very hard to get that information
Yes.
if you're trying to get through to there to report that fraud.
Courtney, it's really important. Just one thing Senator Hackett was talking about, we were even talking in the committee meeting a while back, that this is nationwide. This is not something just here that, our government doesn't know how they're going to respond to handle the total of these cases. They don't know how this has been done. And, just stress to the village, and our deputies will take, any reports of any of that. But it's not going to be surprising if you see some more residents start to receive those,
Right.
and our government is aware of it.
Okay, I'll give you a cover now. And the other part about that too is that, and it is for people that actually need the assistance, because I feel like with people with fraud happening like this, that, the people that have actually really applied for it and really need assistance, that's backing all that up as well. So, you're gonna see a lot of people that aren't gonna get, money that they've applied for, and that, and that sort of thing. So just keep an eye out for that. If you get something in the mail, like I said, I reported my stuff, but you're not getting a quick response. So it's very hard. I Googled different numbers, and they're all doing the same thing. You can't even leave a message. So just, if you got that, like he said, is, to report that. But it's difficult to, know what to do. Okay, so everybody received their packet. Everybody received the financials. The financials here that you guys have are from February the 1st until February the 19th. Okay, so again, these are all reoccurring vendors for the month thus far. Let's see. Any questions on the payment listing? Okay, we did have one new vendor, and that was for salt. We needed to have salt delivered, so it is very tough to come by, especially when you're in the middle of a snowstorm and everybody wants salt. So, it was very tough on trying to get that. Again, appropriation status, we are at the beginning of the year, so there's not a lot of numbers that are fluctuating. Again, that, we need to pay attention to. Our Financial Commission Committee is going to be meeting on April the 20th, so that is some time away. Again, next month is going to be March, so, again, he receives those reports almost daily. The general fund for the appropriation status, we've only spent 3% of that thus far. The water fund, as you can tell, only shows expense of 7%. Cash summary by fund, again, not a lot to report here. Everything looks great as far as the finances for the cash summary. The receipt listing. And as you know, with COVID, there are some, again, what I've done is, I've seeked out to the insurance companies to get and see if there's any sort of like COVID-related refunds that you can get. Not a lot of people went to the doctor's offices, they canceled maybe their eye appointments or canceled some of their, emergency, related. And we did get some money back on that, so we're waiting for a check on that. But again, workers' comp, they do that every year because they have to do what they call a true-up report. So we did receive a refund there for workers' comp claims. Okay, so no questions on that. Your reader report that you guys have, again, this was collected on February the 12th. Revenue status. Everything looks great on here. The general fund here, we are up 18%, which is great. Because again, we're only starting in almost to the third month, so we should be, right around, where we're at. We're a little bit high, so we're 3 points higher than that. Okay, so again, it's always at the beginning of the year. It's not really great to gauge it because, we haven't even completed the first quarter, so I don't really like to, look at the percentages, but only when we're where we're supposed to be. Okay, so I don't have anything. I'm sure you guys as committees, we'll talk about the meetings that we held. I don't have anything unless anybody has any questions for me. Okay, so I would ask Marcy to have a motion for the appropriation status, the revenue status, the receipt listing report, the payment listing, the comparison of budget and appropriated, the cash summary by fund, and the reader report.
You have that motion.
Second.
Okay, so that was Andy, Jay.
Roll call?
Okay, Melanie?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Okay, I will pass these around. If you guys can please place your signatures on there, that would be great. And that's all that I have.
All right, we'll go to committee reports. Finance, Andy?
Yes, thank you. Just a couple of additional thoughts to what Courtney mentioned. First of all, we're just getting started for 2021, so I appreciate everyone's patience as we go through what the finances look like. Courtney has been awesome about allowing us to dig in. Sharing a couple thoughts about what some priorities. I'm new to the committee this year. I have a couple of different priorities that I personally want to understand more, and we're going to be exploring those over the course of the year. One of them is the overall debt load on the village. A lot is made about the debt incurred as part of the water plant. That is but one aspect. It's not to say that it's out of control, but what we're trying to do is put together a longer-term plan for capital improvements. A classic example would be repairing the street like High Street was done a couple years ago, or maybe buying a new water tower because it eventually will need to be replaced, or any other, something that's going to cost us dollars. We got to understand where those would come from and how that all would balance out. So those, understanding the debt picture of the village is really super important, how much is coming in and how much is coming out. We did meet, as I mentioned, on the 12th. We will meet again next month. The 12th was a weird session that had to be rescheduled due to weather. We'll be meeting the normal time next month, which I think is the 4th, if I remember right.
We have that on the second Monday. So
Second Monday. Thank you. Sorry about that.
8.
Thank you.
The 8th at 8 a.m.
The 8th at 8 a.m. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Pleasant Township, Melanie?
I don't have a report, but our next meeting is next Monday, the 1st, 7 p.m. at the Township Building.
Squad, Jay?
Well, yeah, we met this last, we bumped it to Thursday night. It's covered our, our finances, kind of see what's going on. We just had some little hiccups with the bank. But the big one is we did hire a new medic for Unit 3, or 3 unit. So we're excited to have actually someone who actually served at one time on our team and then went off, and now he's back. He's gonna be a great asset again for our team. So that was kind of like the bare bones of what that meeting was about. So that's the squad report.
Fire, Craig?
We don't have a report. Our meeting's this Thursday, the 25th at 8 p.m.
Water, wastewater, Craig, also?
We had our meeting, and Misty come in and give us some updates from the water department. We also discussed House Bill 264. That was where it was about low interest loans. The only problem is we don't apply to us. We also talked about the water ordinance and possible some changes we might need to be making in them. And Mr. Taylor, who does our water department, he got a hold of the people who had done the changes on or repairs on our old water. And I guess the water tower right now is kind of, we're at a place whether do we want to put more money into that one? Or do we really need to start making serious look at, we got to get something else? And that's where we are with that. And our next meeting will be second Wednesday.
It will be,
Second Wednesday in March, right?
yes.
That'd be the 10th.
I'm trying to go through my calendar.
Sounds good. Yes, the 10th Wednesday.
Yes, 10th, March the 10th, at 9 o'clock.
Hey, streets, Andy.
Yeah, the Streets Committee met last week, and we worked through basically the dates we think are starting to target for construction on pothole patching. This is the serious, larger than a dinner plate style potholes, which are going to obviously be made worse by a lot of the ice and snow we've had here this last couple of weeks. But we're trying to get an idea about when the vendors are going to, because we've outsourced some of this because they're just so big and need to be fixed permanently. So we're trying to get an idea about when those folks can get into town. We are early on their list because we were carried over from last year, so that's very good. We still have those dollars, so no new dollars in there. And let's see what else we did. We have our getting together a game plan on graveling of the alleys, starting with the worst alleys first, getting a cost estimate as to how much a single load will basically do and how many loads we need from there, so that's good. Looking to do some of that with our own staff kind of in the spring when everything starts slowing down a little bit from winter work. Trying to fill in a lot of those craters in the back alleys and so forth. So that's on a priority list. What else for that? I think that was about all we covered that meeting.
Parks and Rec, Melanie?
Parks and Recs, we've got some exciting things coming up. We have our meeting on the 15th. I know there's been some talk in the community about people wanting to volunteer and help out, so I'm hoping maybe at our next meeting, we can pick a date and have like a park cleanup, get some strong men out there, help us get these benches set out, the snow should be out of the way. Let's get the streets lined with our new benches and the picnic tables and all that, and start trying to pretty up the place and get rid of winter. Parks and Recs meeting, we discussed getting the park ready for softball. We reviewed the contract that we have with the youth league. We're gonna make a couple adjustments to it and hopefully send that over and see about getting that signed. The youth league is still holding sign-ups for anybody in the community that wants to sign up. Are there gonna be more open sign-ups, you know, Jay?
This Saturday, 9 to 11 at the community center, and then we'll kind of just go for, I did send a flyer to the athletic director at Madison Plains, so hopefully that'll go home to a bunch of students, because honestly, by the looks of it, if we don't get kids signing up, there's not gonna be many teams playing. So, I mean, T-ball looks great, so I'm glad the youngins are out. We do have a couple, like I think a softball team, a baseball team, but there are some divisions that we definitely need a lot more students to sign up, which I think it's gonna be our last mad scramble, usually how it works, but, we want everybody possible out here to play, so, yeah, there you go.
Hey, Jay's not enough for Pony League this year then, for the older
One
boys?
kid signed up for Pony League.
Oh, boy.
What age is that?
That's, what, 14, 15?
13, 14,
That's-
15.
That's too bad.
We also discussed, maybe selling some banners, seeing if we could get some businesses to like paid advertising on the fields, to get some funds made up for that. So we're gonna work on that at the next meeting. Market day, we were talking about the flea market, gonna get that rolling, that will be starting in May, the first Sunday of the month. So we're gonna open that up to anybody in the community, here, farther out, wanna come, set up a table, you can sell new stuff, old stuff, yard sale stuff, crafts, anything, everything. We're gonna invite food trucks in. We're really hoping that this takes off and is something great for the community. We're gonna look at advertising that on our website. We're gonna run ads in the newspaper, Facebook, anywhere, word of mouth. Please let everybody know that is gonna be the first Sundays of the month, starting in May. And then our next meeting is March 1st, and we need to start working on planning our meeting nights too. I know we carried some stuff over from last year, but we want to get those set in ground. We've been busy, so hopefully this summer we'll have a lot of fun things to do.
Hopefully we'll, yeah, I'm just not even gonna say it out loud. Records of retention, Andy.
We have not met. We are going to meet as soon as we possibly can. We have work to do. COVID makes that a little difficult.
Nuisance and abatement, Becky?
Yep, we held our first meeting on February 10th, and we were trying to reestablish the parameter of our responsibilities and ways to enforce things that are already on the books. And then we also talked about we're once again going to be running our beautiful yard recognition that'll begin in late spring. I just went out in all this snow and found 2 of the signs almost buried. I could see a little tiny bit. So I did pull those 2 signs. I'm not sure where the third one was placed. Jay might know that since I think you put them in the ground in October. I have 2 of them in the back of my car. But anyway, we'll start that again in spring. And we're going to be beginning our quarterly newsletter. And earlier when we were talking about the 2-inch snow policy and the sidewalk clearing policy and things, that definitely would be something we would put in the newsletter during that season. But this newsletter, I'm happy to say, Marcy's took on the challenge of putting our newsletter together. So I brought her today a list of events coming up, and I challenge everyone in the community, whether you're a business, an organization, an individual, if you have any events coming up and they're appropriate for the newsletter, we would be happy to put them in, but we would definitely need them in a timely manner. So if your church is getting ready to have a social or something, you want it in the newsletter, you can reach out to me through the nuisance and abatement or Marcy, and we'll try to do that. But hopefully that newsletter will have all the different community events, as well as some tips and some important phone numbers and stuff, timely stuff. And then also, we talked about our 2 community cleanup days. We did set 2 dates in April and in October. Yeah. But since we set the April date, I'm really happy to say the Nazarene Church has reached out to us and they want to participate this year. But they want to do it in May. So we're hoping for May 8th date. We're just trying to get finalization back on that. And I will also tell you that Scott McClelland, who owns a dumpster business, has once again, which he's done in all the past cleanup days, volunteered to donate a dumpster again. So we're hoping other organizations and groups, clubs, churches come on board and can work with the nuisance and abatement for these cleanup days. It's a real feel-good thing. It beautifies and builds team spirit. So we hope to get anyone on board. And again, that first one we're looking at probably May 8th. And our next meeting will be March the 3rd at 2:30. That's it.
Same Safety Block Watch, David.
Of course, we have the work session coming up Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And I want to acknowledge Sheriff Swaney there coming down from London. Appreciate the work you guys do. I really do, man. And Courtney brought up a good thing here. We talk about all these people that set up stuff to steal your identity, and I follow everything I can. There's a call now. And they say your credit card is behind and somebody stole it, and what they're after is your credit card number. And these gentlemen probably know about these tricks better than I do. I always say, take that receiver and slam it in their ear as hard as you can, and just ignore them, because they're after you one way or the other. Or call your law enforcement. And also, I want to bring up too, this predator law. I was reading about that, and watch your children now. With kids doing their schooling now, over the, with all the computers and stuff, the predators are acting like students. So be alert and check, make sure and watch over your kids, because them creepy people do anything they can to do stuff. And I could use another word for them, but I'll just stay with creepy. But this one, and then we'll be meeting for our regular safety meeting will be the second Thursday of the month in March at 4 o'clock.
Thank you. That takes us to ordinances and resolutions. Courtney, you want to read our ordinance?
Okay, we have, the ordinance, 2021-03, an ordinance accepting the 2021 estimated tax rates and revenues for Mount Sterling, Ohio, and declaring it an emergency. If you'd like me to.
Yes.
Okay. So again, you guys have received this, we get this every year, so this is nothing new, just the numbers change. So again, you guys, as I say you guys, you as council review property taxes. So Madison County has given to us, it's on the back page here. I know a lot of you guys have seen this already, you've asked some questions, so I appreciate that. But again, this is estimated property taxes that the village would receive in the event for the entire year if everybody pays it at 100%. Again, on the front page here, it does say by Auditor Hunter is that they encourage you not, they recommend you not to use all of the 100% because again, it's based upon who actually pays it. So these monies that you're looking at here is what we are expected to get at 100% payment. Again, she's reminded all of municipalities that not every municipality, and we've never gotten 100%. So again, she just cautions everybody in regards to expending or expectations for revenues, that not all of it is going to be accepted. So,
Courtney, do we just get a small share of that then, or?
back in your
Okay,
report.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
All
So
right.
there is a formula, the county creates that for
Okay.
everybody. So for London, anybody that's within Madison County.
Okay.
Do you know if it just had a,
Well, I do know, like, personally, yes. I mean, I've had to, pay, but it depends on, this is only based upon the village itself. So there has been several residents that have called that said that there has been an increase. So yes, this is different from last year.
but that has nothing, the village did not make that increase, that was. the
No,
county.
No.
oh yeah, yeah. The county does the value of property taxes. So depending upon outside, like, I know personally mine did. And then people within here, I do know that there has been a few residents that have reached out to me, asking me the same thing. Again, not the village, we're not saying.
Yeah,
what the
maybe
increase
you
is.
need to say some additional magic words, and that would be, your RETA is not changing.
Right,
There is no
Yes.
RETA which is changing here,
correct.
right?
There's no RETA, no.
No RETA is changing,
No, nope.
Property values.
It's-
Property has, yes.
related to property
This
tax.
is property tax only, property tax.
Okay. So I need a motion to suspend the rules.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
So that's Craig and Melanie.
roll call?
Craig,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes,
David,
Yes.
Melanie?
Now I need a motion to place this on the first, second, and third readings.
You got that motion?
I'll second.
So that was David, Andy was second.
Roll call?
Becky?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Melanie?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Now I need a motion for passage of ordinance 2021-03.
Motion?
Oh.
Second?
Becky, and then Jay.
Becky with Jay? Okay.
And
So
roll
that was
call?
Becky first, Jay second?
Yeah.
All right, Jay?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Melanie?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Okay, resolution 2021-03, I'm sorry, ordinance 2021-03 has passed.
Okay. That takes us to roundtable. Does anyone have anything?
I have a couple of quick comments about building and zoning, just a quick update, if I may.
Yes.
The building and zoning committees have been meeting. Unfortunately, our last one or maybe even two have been put off by bad weather. But I did want to let folks know that we're in the process of doing some zoning overhaul. And that is because we actually, back in the fall, had a couple of requests for room additions, and we found certain villagers, village residents, actually their houses were businesses at one point. And so we needed to fix that and make sure that zoning is uniform and more appropriately placed across the village. It has gone kind of in fits and starts over the last 30 years, and sometimes zoning's updated, sometimes it's not. So at the request of some residents, we've gone ahead and looked at that. Our friends at Morpsey did a zoning review for us and redrew our map to actually show, this is actually out of date one now, redid that map for us free of charge. So we were able to leverage the services that they provide. And we now have a much better picture as to what zoning looks like, but we're still going through and harmonizing certain places where there may not be any, or it's just wrong. It's, you know, a tow truck operation right next to, I don't know, a daycare or something. You know, there's things that aren't quite right. And they're not that way today, and we just need to fix them. So if you would like to attend those meetings, they are coming up. Hopefully we can do more of them. You can hear sort of what's going on behind the scenes. It's not exotic, but it's super kind of interesting at the low level. Thanks so much.
And they're the first and third Tuesdays.
At 6. Yeah, 6.
And they just started to talk about the comprehensive plan a little bit and what the village.
It's a great committee.
Yeah, it's a nice
I do
committee.
quite enjoy and learn a lot of stuff on that committee.
Anybody else?
I want to bring up, I know it seems far away, but I was talking to several BFW commanders from different small towns, and they're wanting to come to look at our monument and our bricks where they have the names on them. And they say we're one of the few small villages that has 2 Navy Cross winners, which is second to the Medal of Honor, which we're really grateful for what they served and everything. And so their commanders I'll probably be meeting with them in April when the weather gets good so they can see it, or May. And I can't wait for that warm weather and talk to them commanders and be in a regular short sleeve shirt again.
I have a couple things too. I wanted to give council an opportunity to approve a few upcoming dates. I want to make some motions for some street closures, if I could. I have my first date is a Chamber of Commerce, and I think we work with the village on this event. June 17th through the 19th, we have booked our summer jam again. Last year it had to be canceled due to COVID, but the year before, you'll remember, we had the streets blocked, we had rides and games and vendors up and down London Street, and then, is this Main Street right here? About a block each way. So those dates again are June 17th through the 19th. But we would actually need the roads closed a day before so those trailers could all get parked and things. And then they would be expected to be gone sometime early Sunday morning on the 20th. So again, that's June 17th through 19th, but would really need 16th through the 20th. Another one day, actually just an hour or two street closure that I'd like to request is Sunday, July the 4th for a parade. And again, I don't know if it even needs to be a street closure. Department could speak to this. I know we would line up where we always do past the dairy freeze. We might just need some cruisers blocking traffic for a few minutes until the parade gets going. But to escort and help with the security for all that. And we would have a little bike contest, which wouldn't affect the streets. We'd probably do that on Town Hall lawn for the children, and then they could be in the parade as well. So that's another date. And then the market crew has set up 2 dates for their spring and their fall street market. And I know last year we had a fall street market, and we actually had several people. We did not close the streets. We had everybody on the sidewalks, and we did have a few citizens and council members say, I think this would be a better event if you actually close the streets, because there's those big trucks whizzing by, and people are crossing the streets back and forth. So with that recommendation, we like that idea. So we wanted to recommend the same thing for Saturday, September the 25th, and Saturday, May the 22nd. For those two, I did those backwards. May 22nd would be first, and then September 25th. And again, those would just be from like 7 a.m. so they could set up until 4 p.m. when they're all torn down and gone. So it would just be a partial day. And then the last day that I would request some street closures is Saturday, December the 4th for Christmas in the Village. 1-day event. Mostly everything takes place, a lot of things at Town Hall and at the gazebo and at all the businesses on London Street. So that would be the last date that I would request in, to have some street closures. So can I just make a motion to get those approved, those dates?
Yeah, if I may, just for a second. Being with the Route 62 being closed, right at the edge of town, you're gonna need to check with ODOT too.
Yeah, we always do.
Let me touch on that. Good job back to going ahead and getting these dates. We will check with ODOT
Okay.
on those, and that's fine. Anytime the village wants to promote, community, things like that. The parades are no problem. The sheriff's office will definitely take, we call that one roadblock. But good job setting these dates ahead. Don't not approve those dates for the village to do your community functions. And we can work together and make sure we pass that on to ODOT, because there's a lot of other things that people don't think about these U.S. and state routes that run through in our areas, is they take that into account for special loads and permits. We just think about big trucks or whatever, but there's some specialty things that happen when it comes to issuing permits to oversized loads and certain things that really can't even happen on the freeway. So we'll make sure we work with our partners on that. And that they know that not to issue a permit, anything that might be coming through on this time.
Okay, yeah, we'll be happy to go ahead and give you a list of all those dates as well. So, yeah, with that, can I make a motion to have those dates approved?
Second?
Jay first, Andy was second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Roll call?
Andy,
Yes?
David,
Yes, you can't deny the 4th of July, yes.
Melanie,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Jay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I have a couple round table things. One thing I know some ladies in my shop were talking about, and they were really excited about that, is the Mount Sterling Library is reopened. So it reopened February the 16th. It has all the COVID protocols still in place, and but you can actually go in and look through the shelves now. So yeah, people are excited about that opportunity again. So I wanted to mention that, and then something else I wanted to mention. I got in my receipts when I went to Kroger's. And this is just a little thing. It says, thanks for being a community rewards member. And it says the organization you selected, Madison Plains High School, received a donation of $1,331.90 in 2020. Thanks to you and other Kroger shoppers. And then there's a website and everything on here, but I didn't know about this for years. But you go into Kroger's, and every time you shop, your organization of choice gets a percentage of that money. And can you just imagine if all of us, you know, did it to our school, or I think the community center might be on it as well. So I just encourage everybody gets groceries. We might not all get them at Kroger's, but sometimes we probably do. So I would encourage you all, you just go to Kroger.com/community rewards, and you can pick your organization that you want to support, and every year they just give them money. So I wanted to tell everybody about that. And then, let's see here. One other thing I wanted to mention. I know the children at Madison Plains, at least K through 6, started back a week ago to full in-person classes. Unfortunately, not 7 through 12 yet. But, you know, I know nationwide the cases are going down, and immunizations have started, and they say herd immunity is even starting to kick in and things, and maybe the light is at the end of the rainbow. And I know this coming Friday, Madison Plains is going to be closed because the teachers have an opportunity to get vaccinated. So just with that said, you know, I just want to put a shout out to the kids we do have back in school, but you know, I really encourage everyone to push for the rest of the kids to be back in school, because I think they really need to be in school. So that's all I have. That's all I have.
Also, to add on to your Kroger thing, if you're not shopping in Mount Sterling and you happen to order through Amazon, Amazon Smiles does the same thing, and your organization can be set up in there. So I don't know if the community center is, or if Madison Plains School is too, but that's another place to check out. Anyone else?
I kind of did, now that I got to listen to the whole thing, especially in the beginning, like, what do you say in the report, you know, what's going on, and I would just say, I commend my colleagues for, because on the first meeting, you know, I kind of just said, everybody dig deep, let's just look at it, let's just have some fun what we're doing, and just kind of hear what's going on, the plans, you know, especially getting all these dates, and, but also just ideas, and just, not only just talking about it, but you guys are taking the next step, and that's very encouraging. I know our citizens are getting restless as well, and so I think this is going to be the year where we're going to see a connection between our community and here. Even though Sheriff Sweeney stole my words a few minutes ago, I'll forgive you this time. But you know, just being so ahead of the game, you know, and even with finance to, you know, parks and rec to streets and water, it sounds like, all right, it's time to get to work, you know. And I think we're all just ready. Just one, I think 2020. And just this COVID thing just put a frustration under our feet and our belly. And I think we're ready to get to work. And but it's very encouraging. And I hope the community that's listening in on the video is a little bit encouraged by what's going on. I know everybody has their opinions, and I know everybody, again, that's the way it goes, unfortunately. But again, the snow, I think the snow was the cherry on top of the, what else do you want to give us? You know, anything else? And, but I'm encouraged. Like I said, I think our community is finding that click, that rhythm. Again, seeing the sheriff, you know, and out working, and had a big pull over last night, I think, over here by the gas station when I was coming into town. And so, you know, everything's working. I think it's starting to warm up. I think everybody's just ready to get to work and just have fun. So thank you to all my colleagues. Again, I'm excited for 2021.
Okay. There's nothing else? Oh, yes, sure, Sheriff Sweeney.
First of all, I'd like to thank you. A while back, I'd come down to the office and stuff. I try to stop in occasionally, and I know we've spoken about, you know, with the women and men that are working down here and keeping health and everything. I want to thank you guys for a wonderful job that you've done, getting supplies in and putting things in and upgrading the facilities for those. I think that it shows your support towards us. You know, as for the sheriff's office, you know, I can't wait to get this over, and glad to see our kids get back to school, because I haven't had a DARE graduation since I don't know when. I'd love to get my DARE officer back in and teach these young kids, get some hands-on with them, but we'll see where that goes. You know, I just want to thank you guys. I mean, the feedback from the community, from the deputies, you know, they're really good. These guys we have working, and I know you see come in as we grow a little bit, and those guys have to kind of learn to work a little different, when they're out in the county, and then they get their assignment adjustment, and they come down here, and then that's where you see those new faces, and I encourage you to talk with them and get them involved, and I try to do the things that as well. Utilize Jack. Jack's my proxy sometimes when I'm available. Most of you know him here for a while. Jack knows things about the village that I don't know. When I'm up here in the ship, there's things that you gotta have staff that knows their job and that can give me feedback and try to help get you guys what you need to put things in place. It might not please everybody, but we'll try to make a determination to please the masses and keep your community safe and happy. As some of the equipment has come in, I've been able to equip some of the vehicles that just, that's not something you got on a police car, man. You didn't get a hitch, And I know we wanted to get some signs and stuff implemented and get them down here. So now that we have that available, we'll try to be able to get some of that communication, maybe the signboard down here a little bit, and get it set up and get some other people cross-trained in that. I don't want to be yanking it down every day, but you can, especially when the weather gets warm, we'll get it down here and get it in place. It's a changing year for me. I'm still fairly new in office. I'm still trying to align my office in the way that I think it should be ran. And man, what a wrench we're having thrown at us right now, operating a law enforcement agency, and what our state's seeing, what our government's seeing, and some of the collaboratives that's going to get implemented on us. I come from a time when you had a radio, a gun, and a car, and you just went out and did nice and did your job to now the things that these guys are required to do. It's mind-boggling to see the policies and procedures that I have to put in place and the money that I have to spend on policy and procedure and implement that. And just, these guys are good these days. They really are. You have to roll with it. But I wanted to speak with you guys tonight and just thank you. It's been a while since I've been down. If my schedule permits and I want to come down and be. But do you guys have anything for me tonight? Do you have anything that you want me to be aware of?
I have one comment, and that is to say I super appreciate the sheriff's visibility. I love seeing sheriff cars around. I appreciate it when you guys are, especially out with school buses. School buses this year have been so hit or miss, and they're running at weird times and they're doing stuff other than the kids. But I sure do appreciate seeing sheriff's squad cars and just being visible on the streets. We appreciate that. It goes a long way towards giving folks just a
community down here. I know it's a little ways to get back and forth along. You guys are driving pretty good, but where we're located around here, I have some pretty good friends. Pickaway County Sheriff, the new sheriff, Havey, and I talk quite often. We were able to provide him with some things that they had suffered a loss from a while back, and I never want to see anybody have to go through that. I provided him with a two-man car to cover, part of their county while they had to put one of their brothers to rest. Sheriff Stanford and I spoke with him the other day. And you see things in these fellas, like I can't think of it all. There's things I can see. So the good thing here is you kind of have that if you need something here and our guys need some help, they're coming. I mean, they're going to give us that support. And that's, again, we give them that support. You see the guys, where the guy goes, oh, you down to the curb on Pickaway County, or had to go to the trailer park, a deputy's fighting somebody. We have to give that support for each other, and in turn, we get that support back. But if you see some things, I try to think outside the box. If you see something that some of these other agencies are doing, these sheriff's offices or in maybe some of their small communities, you think, man, that's kind of neat. Hey, relay that information. I can't think of everything.
Sheriff, one thing I would like to do is you can do it and have some free time in April or May. I would love to have a forum and bring the block watch people or people just wants to come to have you answers and questions. because you can answer their questions a lot better than I could. But if we can, down the road, maybe in April, May, maybe I can talk to you later about that down the road.
I'm happy to speak at one.
Appreciate that,
Sure,
sir.
yeah, like I said, you know, like Becky, did you get ahead and get the
Okay.
dates out, you know, I see, it's funny, and now, like, you know, that's how I had a chance to come out this evening, and I'm like, hey, I don't have my schedule down, I'm gonna have it open, I said, there's a meeting, I'm gonna come down to the meeting, just be seen, say hi, and give you guys a chance to, ask me any questions, but, I'd be happy to do that.
Appreciate that.
I didn't wanna waste anybody's, time in this one, but if you guys have this chance to throw something down. If not, you know, get on.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much. A good meeting.
Drop the mic.